So allow yourself to join us in this space, in this luminous space, where we will come into a beautiful leadership style that I have really been so honored to embody and share in such a beautiful way. Hello, oh my goodness, Else. Beautiful one. Everyone else, if you're here joining me on Insight Timer, let me know of your presence. A lot of what we're going to be talking about today is mostly about listening with the thinking mind and listening with embodied presence. This is truly a way forward for us that I truly believe is the way forward for all of us, in the way we lead, whether it is in our own life and as well as, I would say, others, because everything begins with you. It begins with me. It begins with us before we actually go out there and say them, you, me, whatever it is. It all comes from within us. It radiates from here. So if we are able to lead ourselves in this beautiful way that says, you know, I know who I am. I know that I am whole and complete at every moment, then it will make a very significant difference in terms of how you perceive the world, in terms of how you actually action, you action your leadership. Yeah. And also this will actually help you if you are someone who finds yourself feeling like, I get a lot of the things that I'm reading about, that I'm hearing about, I practice all of the things, and yet I still feel really disjointed. It's almost like I get it here, but I'm not getting it here. We're going to dive into all of that together today as well. Okay. All right. So before we begin, let's take a deep breath. We'll take a couple of breaths together. So allow yourself to settle in. And take the first breath into your belly, taking in all the energy, all the chi all around you, as though you're bringing in the sky into your big, big belly. Let the belly expand with your inhale. A long, deep breath. Breathing in a long breath. I know I am breathing in a long breath. Hold it. And breathing out a long breath. I know I am breathing out a long breath. Feel it. Taking in the second breath, breathing in a short breath. I know I am breathing in a short breath. Hold it. Breathing out a short breath. I know I am breathing out a short breath. Come back to normal breathing, paying full attention and presence to your breath, and listen to me as you do. The 2 breaths that we have just taken is for you to cut through forgetfulness and unnecessary thinking, and at the same time giving rise to presence, embodied presence, enabling you to drop from the mind into your body, to encounter life in the present moment. Remember, forgetfulness is simply an absence of presence. Yeah. So breathing with awareness now, each breath, notice how soft it is as you inhale and how soft it is as you exhale, like a silk coming in and out. Breathing with awareness enables us to return to ourselves and to life. And now we're going to take a third breath together. Inhale, breathing in. I am aware of my whole body. Hold it. And exhale, breathing out. I am aware of my whole body. Breathe and contemplate the body. And be in direct contact with your own body. Only you know what it feels like to be in your body. Awareness of the whole body and every part of your body allows you to see and acknowledge the wondrous presence of your body. And it allows you to be aware of the wondrous process of life and death taking place in your body. It is unfolding at every moment, even when you're unconscious of it. Take a moment now to become very aware of it. Soft and gentle, every cell that's coming alive and going away, every breath that's coming in and going out. Yeah. And the fourth breath, I am breathing in and making my whole body calm and at peace. Hold it. And I am breathing out and making my whole body calm and at peace. Feel it. Let yourself feel the calmness and peace in the body. And give yourself permission to arrive at a state in which mind, body, and breath are one harmonious reality. Heart and mind is one. What the heart wants, the mind wants. And what the mind perceives is perceived through the heart. One and the same here. Let it be one and the same. And the fifth breath, I am breathing in and feeling joyful. Hold it. And I am breathing out and feeling joyful. The sixth breath, I am breathing in and feeling happy. Let yourself feel it. I am breathing out and feeling happy. Let yourself cross into the domain of feelings with these two breaths. Create peace and joy that can nourish mind and body. Now that you have stopped the dispersion of forgetfulness, you return to yourself, aware of the present moment. Then happiness and joy can be fully present. You can feel it arise within you. You can now dwell in the wonders of life, able to taste the peace and joy that presence brings. You are able to transform neutral feelings into pleasant feelings. these 2 breaths lead to pleasant feelings. Yes? And now let's go deeper. Let's take another deep breath in. I am breathing in. And I am aware of the activities of the mind in me. Hold it. Become aware that you are aware. I am breathing out, and I am aware of the activities of the mind in me. The 8th breath in, I am breathing in, and I am making the activities of the mind in me calm and at peace. Hold your breath. I am breathing out and making the activities of the mind in me calm and at peace. Notice these 2 breaths, how it is enabling you to look deeply at all the feelings arising within you. Whether they are pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, they enable you to make those feelings calm and at peace. The activities of the mind can often be emotions, yes? When you are aware of your feelings or your emotions, you can see deeply into their roots and nature. And that's when you can begin to alchemize them and make them calm and at peace. Even if they may be unpleasant thoughts, which arise from desire, maybe anger, maybe even guilt, jealousy, they can all be alchemized. They're meant to be alchemized here. Now taking the 9th breath in, I am breathing in, and I am aware of my mind. Hold your breath. I am breathing out, and I am aware of my mind. 10th breath in, I am breathing in, and I am making my mind happy and at peace. Hold your breath. Smile. Don't forget to smile. I am breathing out and making my mind happy and at peace. And let's take the 11th breath in. I am breathing in and concentrating my mind. Hold the breath. I am breathing out and concentrating my mind. Now stay with me. 12th breath. I am breathing in and liberating my mind. Hold the breath. Breathe out through the crown. I am breathing out and liberating my mind. Beautiful. With these 4 breaths, you have crossed into the 3rd domain, which is the mind. The 9th breath, which is to become aware of your mind, enables you to recognize all the states of the mind, such as the perceptions, the thoughts, the discrimination, the happiness, the sadness, and doubt. You observe and recognize these states in order to see, to look deeper, look deeply into the mind's activities. And when the mind's activities are observed and recognized, you are able to concentrate your mind. And by concentrating your mind, you can make your mind calm and at peace. In your mind, you can see the roots of all mental formations and thus overcome all obstacles. Anything that is holding you back, it's all there. Yes. The 13th breath, ladies. Let's do this. We have a few more and we can finish with a powerful breath together. The 13th breath, I am breathing in and observing the impermanent nature of all of life. Hold it. I am breathing out and observing the impermanent nature of all of life. Beautiful. Breathe in again. I am breathing in and observing the fading of all of life. And I am contemplating liberation. Hold your breath. I am breathing out and contemplating liberation. I am breathing in and contemplating letting go. Hold your breath. I am breathing out the endless cycle of birth and death. Yeah. You will have a sense of adventure. You will no longer be tied down by fear and doubt. Fear of failure, fear of falling down, fear of the void. Letting go does not mean to disdain or run away from life. Letting go means letting go of clinging, craving, so you do not suffer from the hamster wheel, the endless cycle of running, chasing. Yeah? Who's in that cycle now? Let me know. You can finally be liberated. You can live in peace no matter what your external circumstances are throwing towards you. You can see that these are all for your ascension and your awakening. One must go through all these obstacles, so-called obstacles, so that we can remember who we really are. So that we can recognize our truth. Each one of us, the truth that is who we are. And the truth of who we are is truly the truth that nothing can bind us. Nothing can hold us down when we are born to rise. We are born to rise. The soul is meant to rise through this physical body. Yes? Anna is raising her hand. Beautiful. Okay. Right. So that was the conscious breathing method that is very simple, but can be, because it's so simple, it is really meant to be deepened into. Every time we do this, we deepen into it, not through the thinking of the words that I'm saying, but feeling, the sense of breathing in and breathing out, concentrating on your breath. That can lead to the path of deeper awakening. Yeah, sometimes the mind can want to complicate so many things, and there are so many different things out there, isn't there? It's like there's this whole new age movement of all kinds of methods, all kinds of things that teaches you to be one thing or another. But when you come down to really understanding what ascension really is liberation. And when we follow our breath, which is a God-given right, the beauty of our breath cannot be underestimated. When we follow the breath, we begin to follow the trail, the path back to oneness, back to unity consciousness. And that, my loves, that is where all things begin. That is the source of all creations. the origin of all things. And this is why it's so important for us to begin here. When we talk about leadership, right? Let me just pull up what I was going to say. Embracing authentic leadership. This is what I wrote about this talk today. And the way of tea, how they work together, right? How it is mirroring our approach to life, to leadership. The way we engage with the tea in ceremony can help us to refine the way we make decisions, the way we guide ourselves and thus others. And it is a reflection of our consciousness. Yes, it comes down to, firstly, because Anna raised her hand, I would love to start from there. Tell me, Anna, if you don't mind sharing a little bit more of where you are, that would be amazing. I would love to have a very dynamic conversation with all of you present here. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to be mentored on this live session, you're very welcome to. It's an incredible opportunity, because this is usually what we really dive deep into in mentorship, of course. And this is why I love mentorship. Mentorship isn't something where you just do for a week or two or one call. It is really a journey. It's really a journey that we walk together side by side for months, at least 1 month. I have 3-month options to work together to 1 year. And so it is important for me to preface that. But it will be an incredible opportunity for you and for me to tap into what I can do to support you today as well. So if you want to share, you're very welcome to share where you are at in terms of authentic leadership. And the reason why I said I really wanted to start from the source, it is because by dismantling and deconstructing all the things that, we have accumulated, whether it is a perception or a belief. It's like I'm saying, hi, my name is Liang, and I grew up in Malaysia, and I lived in Manchester for a few years. That's where I went to uni. And then I moved to Hong Kong. I worked in fashion, luxury, and then I got married. So I moved to Scotland, you know what I mean? And now I'm a Cha Dao, or the way of tea practitioner. I work with women. I mentor women, multidimensional women who have multidimensional gifts and want to really come home to their divinity. Like that, what I just said is a structure. It's the structure for you to understand what I'm here to do, right? But ultimately, as we work together, it is a core foundation. Yes, Anna, yes. It is a core foundation in my work to ultimately dismantle and deconstruct the structures that we have built in the first place for you to understand something. And why that is important is because we want to understand that the structure does give us a sense of the world. It allows us to make sense of the world in a way, but ultimately it also will limit us. It will limit us because if I were to say, for example, I don't know, I live in Scotland. So if someone said, hey, would you be able to do a tea ceremony in the US? Then if I were to say, oh, I live in Edinburgh, I live in Scotland, that's not possible. Then in that sense, because I have a structure of that, I live somewhere that is not where you are, that has limited me now, right? So if I were to dismantle that, to deconstruct that, and come back to the source of who I am, I know first and foremost that I am source. I am divinity. Oh, you want to see my eyes? Can you see my eyes? Let me know. Well, if I were to go back, let's go back to the source. And we have 44 meditators here, which is amazing. If we were to go back to source and dismantle the structure, then we are back home as one. undifferentiated tissue, the cosmos, infinite, limitless energy. Some of you may identify with that we are all energy. Everything we touch is energy, right? Anything that's physical began as energy. It's a certain kind of vibration that came together and formed this. So when we dismantle, when we deconstruct, that's when we can widen our field, when we can come back home as the unified field and begin to see that with clarity, the truth of who we are. And when I say that, it's really this question that I really want to put out here, for you to really grasp how that look like. If I were, ask yourself this question, if I were the only person left here on earth, literally, what would be my priority now? What would I be doing? What would I want to do? Right? Not looking at your children, your spouse, your whatever, but literally there's only me left on this planet. What would I prioritize? What would the one thing be that I would absolutely go out there and do right now? Or it's pulsating through my entire being. It's like telling me, oh my gosh, this is something I have to do. Like, I need to do this, right? And that is when you are back to source. That's how it feels like to be back to the unified field embodied. You are the unified field embodied. And I really want to bring forward this conversation on leadership, because a lot of times, and I think this is a very deeply ingrained conditioning, where we come from an upbringing, or maybe we were taught at school to be a leader is to be strong and powerful, and that we have to lead by example in the way of how we look, how we get things done, how we achieve results that are in the structure of society deemed as successful, right? And sometimes, and oftentimes actually, this is counterintuitive to the path of our truth, because there is no one blueprint that is successful leadership that all of us have to follow. Each leader has a different style. Each leader has a different blueprint, and each leader has a different power. So the real question then is, what is your power? Sometimes that power doesn't have to look like something that is successful on the outside even. I know of some really beautiful human beings who left a legacy that nobody actually know of. Like, it's not printed on the newspaper. Nobody actually said, like they earned like they are millionaires, but they made a huge footprint in the lives of the people who actually know them. And the people still talk about them until today. So it's very, 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 very important for us to really understand who we are. And we want to go back to the origin of who we are. And that, my loves, is the essence of tea. Tea is so much more than just a beverage in this sense of the word. In Cha Dao, Dao itself is Dharma. Dao itself is that cosmos, is that mother of all things, the void, where there is this womb that gave birth to the 10,000 things. And a lot of times we want to remember that we are born of the same thing, the Tao itself, the universe, the cosmos, right? You are the cosmos. You are the cosmos. You are a cosmic being. And the way that we see how the universe moves and and shuffles around and continues to expand into the unknown. Like nobody knows how vast the universe really is. That is really literally who we are. That is what we are made of. And so it feels really, really exciting to understand first and foremost that, wow, I am so much more than this body. I am so much more than the belief that I grew up with, the beliefs that I grew up with. I am so much more than what I have already achieved. I am so much more than that. Yes. And so when you are, and I just noticed here Anna saying that I'm on the path of remembering my truth and re-empowering myself. It is so beautiful to acknowledge that, because ultimately we are all on that path. Yeah. And we have free will. Here's the thing I'm going to tell you that I know from my own personal experience so deeply, and that has changed so many people's lives that who have come to work with me, is that when we begin to actually allow divinity to work through us, to be expressed through us, we understand that there isn't this whole, how do I say this? It's almost like there's this very old conditioned way of thinking that, the more I need to do this in order to earn this, right? If we are returning back to a very direct experience of what it feels like for divinity to be expressed through us, what you will begin to understand is that is actually a very human way, a Newtonian way of thinking. Whereas what we are as energy beings, as cosmic beings, what we truly are is that we have this limitless, vast amount of potential that desires to be expressed through us. It desires to move through us. And so we as human, it is our work to fully acknowledge that we are fully human and fully divine all at the same time. It's not an either or thing. It isn't to say like, well, when I am human, then I'm not divine. Or like, when I'm divine, I'll need to ignore all my human imperfections. No. What I am sharing with you here is that, we move into this space, when we move into a tea space, and I'm right here sitting in my sacred tea space as I speak to you, yes? You may see that there is a profound amount of, I want to show you a little bit more of it, but I don't know if you can actually see, but there's a profound amount of things here that really gives credence to nature, the imperfection of nature, the fact that it is so perfectly imperfect. There is so much power in recognizing that we are one and the same with that power of nature that we are speaking of. When we start to walk home to that, we begin to understand that we are not separate. We're not separate from the cosmos. We're not separate from nature, that tree that stands outside of your house. We're not separate from that vast ocean of water. We're not separate from the forest. We're not separate from the sacred lands that we talk about all the time, Glastonbury, or I don't know, all the beautiful, Isle of Skye here in Scotland, I love personally, and Tibet, or all the beautiful Egypt, right? Egypt, Greece, all the places that we say so sacred and sacrosanct. These places are sacrosanct because we treat them with sacred eyes. We see them with sacred eyes. When we walk as the sacred on these lands, it makes the land sacred. So this is very, very, very simply, if you look at it, I have a husband who is very linear minded, and he loves the way I see the world, because he personally never knew of these things that are so sacred. So if he were to walk, for example, like through Glastonbury, he'll probably just walk through Glastonbury and he will never know how sacred the land is. But because I'm there, because I'm walking and feeling into the spirit of the land, I can teach, I can tell him, I can share with him, and this is your power. I'm sure if you are here listening to me, you have that heart, that clairvoyance, that knowing of what is truly calling out to you to be expressed through you, the divinity that desires to be expressed through you, right? So another thing that comes with that oftentimes a lot of people don't understand is that you have free will. All of us, even though you may think you don't, you actually do. Even if you feel like, I want to avoid disappointment, I don't want to lead anymore, it's like I'm always the one deciding, I don't want to decide. Well, the news here is when you don't want to decide, you've already decided that you don't want to decide. And that, my friend, is also a decision. And so my call out to you really is to understand that you have free will. You have free will in terms of how you want to live your life, whether consciously or unconsciously. And one of the big things that we really need to understand is that sometimes many things, especially in today's age when we are so overloaded with information, like it's so easy for us to find information everywhere, it's very important for us to really sharpen our discernment, to understand what is really our truth and what is not, and be willing to dismantle. Even if it's my truth, I am willing to deconstruct it and dismantle it so that there is no longer a self in it, so that I am not attached to proving my point. You understand? I'm not here to convince you. And for me to be able to feel really embodied in it is to really dismantle the self from that thing that I'm talking about. So what I really love about tea is that I don't need to convince you about anything. It's a very direct experience. When a person comes in and share tea with me, it's oftentimes a part of the mentorship space that I hold. And it is the reason why I always have that present is because it is very important for me to allow the mentee or the client to first and foremost drop from the mind into the body. Because as long as we're high up here, you will never really hear what is coming through for you. Not from my voice, but from spirit. And because tea ceremony has a beautiful, profound, reverent silence that blossoms in the ceremony, there's something so profound about the breathing in and breathing out of the bowls going out and coming in. And there is something so profound about that deepest level of reuniting as the unified field. We go through the eye of the needle and we land in silence. We land in the stillness of the 0 point field, the unified field, as we all call it, right? The cosmos itself, the void. And that's where we can start to see with clarity each door, each opportunity that is actually open for us. And then once we come out, we come back into the physical body, that's when we breathe and come alive and become so present to what is alive and true right now. Now, listen to me, we're not avoiding anything that's coming up. We are very present to what's alive and true. And we start to be with it. We be with it as it is. We're not trying to control the circumstance. We're not trying to avoid looking at it. We're not trying to say, I hate this. I need this to change right now in order for me to be happy. Instead, what you're becoming is you already embody the unified field that you are, and you are fully present with what is. And what is, whatever that is, whether it's pleasant to you or not, is not going to, ruin you or affect you and lead you to do things that are emotionally embroiled in the moment that you will regret later. right? How many of us have done that, right? When we were angry, we said things that we didn't want to say. When we were upset, we broke things, and we just wanted someone, we wanted to be right. Yes, we were righteously out there and, shoving things down other people's throats, when what we could have done really was to really come back home to ourselves and really work with that feeling, work with what is going on here, deconstructing that in our bodies, feeling it fully is the way to deconstruct it. It's a very somatic practice. We don't have to go into the head and go like, oh, what happened when I was 10 or whatever. We don't need to go there if you don't want to. It actually comes up after you feel it oftentimes. We are here to really feel that emotion. If there's anything that has happened in your life and you're hearing me right now, by the way, and you feel highly triggered, you're like, I don't know, this woman is just talking shit, or she's just, she has no idea about how hard my life is. Like, I invite you right now to feel into that frustration in your body. Like, drop from the chatter and feel what is going on in your body. Is there a tension in your spleen? Is there a contraction in your heart? Maybe there's like a backache that flared up. What is it? And go there. Be fully present with the pain. Breathe with it. Because that, my love, that is some people say is your inner child that's asking to be seen. But I honestly think it's that energy that is an energetic dissonance that is asking you to see it, to work with it, to allow it to be set free. And that, my loves, is setting yourself free. Yes, Chi is a powerful thing, energy. Is the way we can eat. Chi is a word that is very loaded because I work with internal alchemy. The Taoist way of alchemy sometimes has a very different perspective on Qi. When we talk about traditional Chinese medicine, there's a different perspective. But let's talk about Qi as energy. Where consciousness goes, Qi follows. So where your intention, your Yi, your consciousness goes, your Qi follows, your energy follows. And when energy goes, where energy goes, that's where manifestation happens. That's where something manifests. So oftentimes when someone comes to me and say, I feel really scared and I don't want to take that step. I'm so afraid that I will fail. And I'll ask, where do you feel it? Where do you feel it in your body? Don't tell me how you feel, but just where do you feel it? And they will often say it's around the solar plexus. It's around this area. It feels like something's stuck here. And I would oftentimes know if that's the case, oftentimes, and it will vary, obviously, each person is different. But what is going on here is that there is this great excessive amount of energy that desires to be let out, to be freed, to expand, to come through, to be embodied. And yet we are trying to shove it down, and we're trying to suppress it and push it down. And what that creates is this dissonance, this almost like a box that's trying to, it wants to come out, it wants to move through. But hey, you're saying no. So what can we really do is to allow it to be free, to flow, to move. Because once it does, your circuits are lit up, your circuits are set or activated. They are activated, and that's when energy flows. And when energy flows, trust me, you will receive the ping, you will receive the intuitive hit, and you will receive the guidance to move forward to the next step, and onwards and onwards and onwards. And that is the adventure that you take towards and through the unknown. How many of us have held back because we are so afraid of the unknown? But what if I told you the unknown is exactly what life is? The unknown is where creations are born. The unknown is where the most incredible agape inventions and creations have been expressed, have been born from, that originates from there. And this is the thing, my loves, like, I often say this. It doesn't matter how amazing your dream is. If you believe that you don't have the balls to do it, if you believe that you're not good enough to carry it through, if you believe that you're not supported to do it, then it doesn't matter. The dream will never come alive. The dream will go to someone else. And this is why so many of us will be like, hey, I thought of that, but I never got around to do it, and now they've taken my idea. Has anyone experienced that? Let me know. Well then, if you don't have the balls to do it, the dream is so important. The divine wants to be expressed in that way. And if you say, well, I don't really think I can do it, I don't think I can handle it, then the divine will say, bye-bye, I'm going somewhere else. I'm going somewhere else. Someone else who has the balls to create this. Someone else who has the balls to take the risk and play big adventure game with me, basically. This is, in Chinese medicine, we call it shen. It's a very fickle substance. It's like shen, if I directly translate it, it's like spirit. And it brings down the most beautiful divine expression in every person. Every one of us has it. And shen is like fire. It desires to be expressed. It likes to radiate out into the world. But it can also fly away. It flies away when we are encumbered with trauma, when we don't want to look at what's happening in our lives, and instead we look at accumulating more and more things to suppress our true desires. It flies away when we are sad, when we are mired in sadness. I'm not saying that you can't be sad. You can absolutely be sad, but the question is, how long will you allow yourself to sit in a very emotionally embroiled state? Because the more you bring your vibration down, the more your magnetic field will shrink. And this is why it's so important to actually understand how to work with your energy, how to activate your circuits, how to activate your meridians. Also, if you don't vibe with the word circuits, meridians, your chakras, are they spinning in a lively way, or are they dead? Are they suppressed? Right? These are very, very important questions to really tap into. And the when I say that, questions to tap into, I don't mean like, do I ask myself? Well, I guess you can ask yourself that question, because there is a way you can do that. I've once had an energy healing teacher. I've studied with Dr. Sue Morter for a long time, and she's taught this way of testing. Is energy flowing in my first chakra? Is my energy flowing in my third chakra? And if it breaks, then you know that it's not flowing. And then you kind of go in there and you do the healing work. You can also really, if you're very clear and crystalline as a vessel, you can literally feel it. You can feel it. And the most important thing at that point is not to deny it, not to suppress it, or try to ask for validation from others, right? That is the most important thing. This is why your inner leadership game is so important. It all begins there. You can, you can fake it and make it. But the question is, how long are you going to play that game for? My intention here is for you to live a bloody, beautiful, brilliant life. It's not about how expensive your car is and how much money you're making. Yes, those things will always come along when you're happy, when you are vibrationally vibrant, when you're radiating with your purpose, when you're radiating with inner game that is so solid gold inner game. All the other physical things will definitely come along because everything is energy. And oftentimes, I really want to say this. Sometimes we have to take our eyes off the things that we think we lack. Because when you are so focused on what you're lacking, all you're amplifying is what you're lacking, right? Do you guys hear me? If you're hearing me, just give me some likes, please. Love, heart. And I want to talk to you. I want to know what's going on in your lives. Like, are you resonating with this? Like, how can I support you as well? Please drop them in the comments. And yes, Anna saying yes. Christina, love that solid goal inner game. I think I'll take that one and make that into a masterclass maybe someday. That will be amazing, because isn't it incredible? And you know, one of the things I love about sharing the power of tea is that I understand that this may be something that is a lot quieter than, say, I don't know, manifest your 10K, 30K month, or manifest your ultimate love life, right? But I know this is the inner game, because without it, anything else that you may manifest will, poof, it'll go. Because there's no inner solid game. There's no solid goal inner game, right? Like Christina, thanks for putting that out. And so it is important for us to understand, like, how can we come to a place where we can really cultivate that deep sense of peace and connection with Source, and then allow ourselves to fully receive from the external world, and allow ourselves to give fully as well. Because this is the thing that I really feel like people are need to understand. You know, there needs to be a flow. And what does a flow mean? Flowing means that there is a giving and receiving. There's a going out and coming in. So whether we are talking about relationships, whether we are talking about money, whatever it is, even physical items, right? There needs to be a flow. So if there is no flow, then everything will stay very stagnant. And when it's stagnant, what happens is that you become constipated. Yes, there's a constipation, there's a backlog, there's a blockage, and energetically as well, it happens. And so there will oftentimes be things that happen where it almost feels like, boom, that took me by complete shock and surprise. Maybe you get into an accident, you fall down, or something happens with your daughter, something happens, like all the things that is like, wait a minute, I thought like everything was going swimmingly, and then now suddenly this happened. Why? Because there needs to be a flow. And so you keeping your energetic flow clean is going to really help to allow you to open your sacred eyes to the world. Yes, you get to see everything as sacred. Even the most ordinary thing in the world is extraordinary. You know, I love the fact that I get to really see you know, the most simple things and just love it. Like, I see the grass, I see the daffodils that are growing, I say thank you so much, I say this is amazing. And like when you see someone on the street who's sweeping the street for you, who's a public servant, you say thank you to them. It makes them glow. It makes them think, oh my god, you're kind of weird, but okay, thank you. You know what I mean? And you glow from the inside. You glow from the inside. You know, I've had so many experiences, guys, honestly. Let me tell you this. You know, I've been scammed. You know, I've had thousands of dollars that just gone down the drain, as some people would say. And I used to sit in this really bad state of regret and guilt. And I often tell myself, I'm too nice. I trust in other people too much. All of the things that, you know, usually I grew up with that kind of mentality, right? My mom always told me like, don't trust other people, you know, don't trust people with your money and all of that. But I always knew, I felt something in my heart that never sat right with me when they said that. And when I got down to it, I realized that what I truly believe is that people, everyone, are inherently good. Everyone loves to give. I had a live session here before, not too long ago, where I asked, like, if you had everything, your prayers are all answered, what would you do? Like, if you had everything in your life, your prayers are all answered, what would you do? And most of the people in the comments were saying that they would give. They will give. They will give away or invite people to come in and do the things they need to do and do it together, and they will give away some of their things, their money. And this is what I mean. We are all inherently good. What makes us fight, what makes us angry, what makes us defensive is all the survival mechanisms that we have built up across time. Survival mechanisms from, well, I need to, you know, get a job, I need to defend myself, I need to keep my job, so I need to throw someone else under the bus. Or what my mom did to me or my dad did to me, so I need to defend myself and my siblings, so I need to do this. All of the things, right? And this is where we really have to come in, and ultimately when we are now safe to do so. And if you're here, I trust that you are, at some levels, already done and dusted with those experiences. That's when you want to come into a beautiful neutral space, which is what the T space often provides, to start to dismantle those structures, to start to deconstruct those structures, and begin to come back to the source, that formless space of who you are, where you are not defending, where you are not fighting, controlling. And then you start to get in touch, direct contact with who that is within you. Nobody can give it to you. You know, ultimately, my work here is to guide you to that place. And it is for you to feel and get into direct contact with that you. And then allow that you to be expressed out into the world. Because you are the divine in human form. You are divine royalty in human form. Every one of us are sacred luxury here. We're all playing a different game, but we all are sacred luxury. And I like to say sacred luxury because I want you to understand that you deserve the very, very best. And everyone's very best is different. It is very important to understand that. And if you can't do that, please understand that you are meant to find support. You're not meant to do this alone. And the one thing I often talk about is that a lot of people in today's society, they forget, you know, in the biggest tribes, in all the, when we all the biggest people, even the athletes, let's put it that way, you know, athletes, musicians, masters, artists, they all had mentors. They all had elders, mentors who guided them. So I really want to emphasize that you don't ever have to feel like you're the weird one out if you needed to invest in yourself or invest in the support that you desire. I have this beautiful client that works with me who oftentimes tell me this, is that I support myself. I choose to give myself the full support that I desire in my life. Not because I need it, but because I choose to. I decide to have it. And this is the modern woman. This is the modern woman who is completely transmuting and alchemizing her generational wounds. Because the generational wound is, for women, is we have to do things on our own, right? We have to, if we show any weaknesses like we need help, then, you know, it's not good. But that's not true. And the only reason that it became such a prevalent thing is because, you know, the bigger force out there, bigger in that sense, quote unquote, they like to play the separation game. The more separate we are, Like, oh, I look at her and she's got so much wealth, that's why she can do that. Or she's got a husband, that's why she can do that. Or she's prettier, so she can do that. All the separation game are meant to keep you separate, keep all of us separate. And so in the T space, what do? We come out of the illusion of separation by sitting in a deep, profound, connective way where there's no hierarchy. There's no you're lower and I'm higher. We're all here. And you are so welcome to receive as much as you would desire to receive. Each bowl is here for you. If you want to stop drinking, you stop drinking. If you don't want to drink at all, you don't drink. If you want to drink all of them, you're very welcome. And I've had so many instances where there are people from all across the countries, all different countries sitting together and sharing things in different accents. It's incredible. And all of us have so many profound commonalities where we have so many common desires, we have so many dreams that we want to see come true. And the more of us do the same things, the more of us vibe with that level of love, that level of unity consciousness, the more quickly we can really raise our bars, our standards to that level. Yeah. So it is very important to come into this place where you acknowledge that I am not a victim of my life. I have full power to do what I'm here to do. It is so important to also be with a mentor who is here to guide you to unveil your own truth, not their truth, not the society's truth, but your own truth, yours and yours only. It's very important for me when I'm working with someone to say that I'm not here to give you an exact blueprint to align with your Dao. You have your journey, and I can walk with you and give you the keys to open the gate, but you have to walk through the gate and do it yourself, because it is ultimately your path to embody. And God, like, the last thing I would ever want is to force you to follow my blueprint because I have some ego, that I need to keep you on track or, create results on time. Like, let's dismantle this once and for all. This is old leadership style, guys. As a practitioner, as a mentor, as a healer, whatever you're here to do, if you're helping someone, if you're working with someone, it is so important to sharpen and refine your ability to deeply listen. To not cling on to anything and to not absorb anything, and to merely reflect back to them where they are at and ultimately let them make their own decisions. This is very important because it could be their destiny not to follow your words at this point, and maybe down the line, 10 years later, they will be ready to follow it. Maybe it's their destiny to follow it immediately right now. And that's brilliant. You will end up working for years and years together. You won't know. The only way is to fully stay in integrity, to fully know how to play with the mystery of life and allow that to unfold. And this is the core foundation of the work that we do in my mastermind called At Mystery's Gate. At Mystery's Gate. We start in September. So if this is for you, we are selling that. A couple of spots are still available at early bird price. So if that's something for you, just DM me and we can have a chat about that. But is this clear for everyone? Because I really want to bring this forward to you. And one of the powerful things about Cha Dao is that it really is an embodied experience, and words can only go this far to show to share the experience of what it's like. And what it's like for me is that it has really allowed me to harness my inner game as a leader, to be led by spirit. Spirit sometimes would tell me something that's completely out of my mind's perception of what is needed in the ceremony. And then I would be like, oh, okay, let's go with that and see what happens. Let's go with that. And then the most powerful and incredible thing always happens. It's like the client would say something and I'm like, that was what I saw in the field when we were sitting together in silence. Now that's why I was told to, maybe run this activation. Maybe I was told to maybe stop at 4 bowls, all the different things. And maybe I was told to share this particular tea. So it's very powerful in that sense. And it really is very woven, tightly knitted with the principles of Chan Buddhism or Zen. Yeah, Zen, Chan, both are the same, but different languages. Zen is Japanese, Chan is Chinese. So the whole idea of Zen is direct experience. What are you directly experiencing? What are you emptying out in order for you to fully become the vessel, the crystalline vessel of what is alive right here, right now? Yeah, so becoming one with the cosmos is not just a very intellectual thing to understand. It's actually a very embodied experience. So I just want to take a pause to see if anyone has questions, things that I can answer right now before we finish. One of the things that I like to use to describe Zen or Cha Dao even, because they're all woven together, Zen and tea are one flavor, as the saying goes, is that as a child, you would go and run through the fields, or you would maybe see something that is something that will pique your curiosity. And you will look at it and you're like, oh, this is so interesting. The colors, the scent, something about it infuses your consciousness. And there is no filter to it. Like there's no barrier of experience between you and the thing that you're looking at and that you're holding or you're feeling and sensing. And that's pretty much what Zen is. We are directly and we're free to directly experience and interact with this thing, this experience. Instead of as adults, where we often are, is we have this idea of, we have a filter already, where we may come from. So the invitation here is when you are leading yourself or others, can you be free to meet them and yourself where you are? Exactly where you are. No judgments of right and wrong, lack or having. It simply is. Yeah. And come to your own understanding of what life is. Literally free from all filters. It is a deep knowing. It is a deep knowing, like a remembrance. It's so assuring and motherly. It's like a cosmic mother. Everything falling into place in your own body, in your own perception, in your own field, as your field, as the field. Christina is saying, I'm in the middle of up-leveling, I feel, and have been tested while receiving beautiful opportunities, trying to calibrate, ground, and believe in my path. That is so beautiful. And this is the thing, what if, and my invitation to you, Christina, is what if it's not a test, but rather simply an invitation to awaken your sacred eyes, to awaken your mind, so that you can see the world with an awakened mind, heart and mind as one. And that is where you begin to really feel very differently about the world. It's no longer about, will this give me something? Will that take away something? But rather, it's like, this feels a little bit uncomfortable, but I know it is for my growth. Because if I go through this, then this will happen, potentially. Because if I walk down this path that may feel a little bit uncomfortable, I know I'm going to grow. I'm going to grow so much. And I'm going to learn so much. I know it's going to be a very unpredictable, it's a deep unknown, but there's a sense of adventure, curiosity, and no one has done it before. Oh my gosh. But maybe that's why it's meant for me. Maybe I'm the first one who's going to be doing this. And by the way, the answer is yes. Because you will be the first and the only. There's only one of you. All of us are meant to be an expression. It's like, I love this expression of the divine, where they say, like, the divine was just one undifferentiated cosmos at first. And then it started to have a thought, 2 thoughts, 3 thoughts. And the thoughts were like shards of different side of a mirror. And consciousness saw itself in the mirror. And that is who we are as humans. We are that reflection in the mirror. We are that fractal of the consciousness, the one consciousness that we came from, the one source, Tao. And so all of us are just a different part of the gigantic mirror. And I love that in Zen, there is this saying that ultimately, if you have come into unity consciousness, you will realize that there has never been a mirror. Yeah? You don't need to dust down the mirror. You don't have to clean the mirror, because there's never been a mirror. That is a very deep level of Zen that we oftentimes, I love to play with my clients and get them to start thinking and deepen into the work that we do in our spaces. And this is what I'd love to share. I really want you to understand this, is that there are ways that there are many, many ways to go to where you want to go. My intention is that you enjoy your journey, that you enjoy the journey, that you have the greatest adventure, because it is only the greatest adventure that you will remember when you die, when you're on your deathbed. You wouldn't be saying, I have the fanciest car out there in the garage. I have 10 million in my bank account. You would never say that. What you would do is remember the adventure you had. Do you remember that time we went to the Camino? And do you remember that time we spent so much money on this incredible hotel, but it was the best experience we had? Do you remember that time I was scammed and then I found my best pal online, because now I know that, when I don't feel good about something, I know that this is not the right person. So I know exactly what kind of person I want to talk to online now. And your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, they will remember you as the most joyful, peaceful person and so present. It's so crazy that we live in a world where if I were to look at you in the eye and I asked you, how are you? Really, tell me, how are you? And people go crazy. They think I'm crazy. Isn't that crazy? But I loved to do that. I love to really ask, like, How are you? Tell me everything. This is why I keep saying, like, drop me in the comments. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me, how are you really? I don't want pleasantries. And I want to build a society. I want to build a humanity who all are here and able to tune in and listen. Really listen. I'm telling you this because I have met so many people who just want me to say pleasantries. Like, yeah, I'm fine. Because they don't even want to hear it because they're so afraid. They're so afraid of their own feelings first, and that's why they're afraid of other people's feelings. So your ability to hold your own feelings is commensurate to how much you can hold other people. So be very good at holding your own, my love. Be so good at asking yourself, how are you? And be so good to receive the full attention. Be so good at receiving the support. Be so good at knowing that you are the best ever investment you can ever make. Not that stock, not that bond, not that crypto, but yourself. You. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you as well, Christina. All right, my love. So I hope that today served you deeply. If you would like to join me for a tea ceremony that is not only a tea ceremony, it actually helps you to activate your leadership, to really dive deeper into activating your circuits, your meridians, all of those good juicy stuff, you can contact me. I do bespoke one-offs for first-timers, and that full credit can be used towards my mentorship spaces. Like I said, there's a mastermind that's open for enrollment now, and also Cha Dao for the multidimensional woman, where we really go deep into the art of tea, and we weave that with the way of life. Like, how do we live in that way as well, and bring that tranquility and the wisdom through in all aspects. So thank you, my love. Thank you, Diana. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. I appreciate you deeply, 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 deeply. All the beautiful energies. Thank you, Neil. Oh my gosh, yes. I really hope that it was able to help you in any way possible. And I do look forward to really sharing with you in tea, in the spirit of love, in the spirit of harmony, in the spirit of indigenous wisdom, ancestral wisdom. Yes, definitely, my love, Anna. Yes. Okay, my love. So thank you, Myra. Oh my gosh. Let's finish off with a saying that I love. Okay, let's pick one. That I spoke about the mirror, yeah? So this is a beautiful Zen story where the patriarch was about to pass away, so he had to pick the next to take over, and he was asking all of his disciples at the temple, write me your best poetry, and I will pick the best, and you will be the next patriarch to lead the temple. And so there was a monk who wrote a gatha. It's called a gatha, not a poetry. It's like a poem kind of thing, but they call it a gatha. And he wrote, the body is like a Bodhi tree. The mind is like a standing mirror. Always try to wipe it clean. Do not let it gather dust. And the patriarch praised the gatha, and yet he said that he told the monk who wrote the gatha, you have not come to a full understanding yet. And the monk was really confused. It's like, why? Everyone says it's the best. Like the disciples were all saying, oh, it's really good, it's really good. This is because there was apparently this kitchen attendant who's not a monk, who's got no education, but exceedingly talented, and obviously became eventually one of the most famous patriarchs in Zen. His name is Hui Neng, and he actually wrote another gatha next to the first gatha that the patriarch saw and said, this man, this guy, this boy, literally actually, is going to be the next patriarch. So this is what he wrote. Bodhi originally is no tree. The bright mirror has no stand. Fundamentally, not one thing exists. So where will the dust gather? So I will leave you with this. And send you off into the most beautiful day, evening, afternoon. Yes, where does the dust gather? If there is no tree, if there is no mirror. Beautiful. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everyone. And I will see you very soon. Big kisses.